Hey everybody, it's Erin Reed from Erin Makes, and you are on the next episode of Erin Makes With. This is a crafty talk show where we do a little bit of crafting, a little bit of chatting, and a little bit of learning. Today I have an amazing guest with me. Let's see who it is. So I have Joe McClain here from Help Heal Veterans. It is an amazing nonprofit organization. Welcome, Joe.
Hi, Erin. How are you?
I am good. All right, so we're just going to jump right in and we're going to talk a little bit about what all this is, the Help Heal Veterans. Now, for those, I'm just going to show everybody behind me a little bit, just a little bit of some background information. I am a military spouse. My husband's been in for almost 25 years now, and he's Army. And so when I heard of this program and I learned about Joe, I just thought, it's crafting, it's military. This is like, it's a match made in heaven. I mean, like I had to have him on the show and educate everybody about what this program was about, because it was like my two worlds were colliding all of a sudden, which I thought was just the greatest thing in the world. So can you fill me in a little bit about what Help Heal Veterans is all about and what is your role in the company?
Yeah, sure. So I am a CEO of Help Heal Veterans, and we are a national nonprofit located here in Southern California, it's north of San Diego. And we've been around for 50 years, founded in 1971 during the Vietnam War. And what we do is we provide therapeutic arts and crafts to any veteran, active military, and the families who support them for free that's undergoing healthcare, and it helps with the healing process. So we apply the science of craft to the science of healing, combine the two, and help support that healing process. And we provide these kits free of charge and we have a wide distribution network to touch folks on multiple levels, but we support all generations of veterans, all the way from that older Vietnam, Korea War vet, and maybe a couple of World War II vets we still support now, all the way down to that young 18-year-old soldier Marine just back from the desert, and their families as well. So it's an awesome organization. We've been around for 50 years, and I've really seen how crafts can help save lives.
Yeah. I mean, I've always heard of art therapy, and craft therapy is not that far-fetched from the same thing. I mean, it's kind of all in the same wheelhouse. So I'm just going to change my screen again, because we're going to talk a little bit about some of the kits, and then let's chat a little bit about how they all help and what they do. And then we're actually going to create one. So this would be cool. All right. So one of the first ones I saw, I love this one. So this one is like a baseball kit that they actually have to sew. And I have a finished version right here.
Awesome. So, nice job.
Ooh. No, I didn't do this one. You guys sent this to me. I'm very, very happy that you did. So I mean, I'd love to create this, but just timing, there was no way. So what is the purpose behind this? I mean, I also feel like it's like a really, really, really good stress ball. So
it is. So like
inside.
Well, the cord, we turn that little piece around and you'll see that that's a suicide prevention crisis line from the VA. So we've got those, the balls were given to us by the Department of Veteran Affairs, and we turn those into a kit. Now, what's special about crafting, especially the craft kits we create, is that they're the design and created from the ground up. And we're manufactured, by the way. So we made that here in our factory warehouse here in Southern California, but designed from the ground up by clinicians, support the healing process in various ways. So with that's relief picture there, you've got a couple things. First off, let's say that you have a soldier who's suffering from traumatic brain injury. Well, that's going to help them by being able to concentrate, follow instructions, and that fine motor skills going through them. That sewing is a very soothing motion. If you have someone who maybe has the trouble with post-traumatic stress, and that's any type of depression, and sometimes that sense of creativity, if I can create something really special that I'm proud of here, that will help me apply some of the other big challenges I have in my life. For substance abuse, we have some folks who are basically recovering alcoholics, and they say the hardest time for them is that downtime when I'm just sitting there bored, and I really feel like having a beer or a shot of tequila, so they'll reach for a craft kit and start crafting. That urge will kind of fade. And for pain management, I have a soldier out here who's a paraplegic who's local to our community here. And with the whole opioid epidemic that's going on, and what those drugs do to you, and he just hates that. He hates what that does to his body. But he was suffering from chronic pain from his injury, so he'll get up middle of the night, and instead of reaching for some opium or not opium, Oxycontin or whatever, he will do a craft kit. And science shows that mindfulness of doing that, it will fade, over time. And there's some research that we've kind of done in-house were a couple thousand vets who had pain, chronic pain. They said that their pain faded about 70%, that sense of pain, over the time it took them to do the kit. It came back, obviously, but that sense of pain would fade. And then one of the most magic things I think about crafting, and you as a spouse will enjoy this, is that when you have someone coming back for deployment, maybe the family back together dynamics is hard. So it's hard for a father or mother to talk to their kid and they've been away for 6 months. So doing a craft together can help. So it applies in so many different ways, across so many different challenges, just by that little kit you got there, the sewing, the following the instructions, the stress ball, the making something special that you can share. It's pretty awesome.
I love this one too. I had my mother and she's like, "Oh my God, is that a purse back there?" I'm like, "Yeah." Like there's a kit to make this really cool purse and it's got all the parts to it. Sorry, a little piece of the fluffing came out, but it was like, it's the same thing. It's the stitching, it's the act of also like completing something, I think is part of it too. Like the sense of accomplishment. Hey, I did that. I made that. I created that. That was me. That was my thing. Right.
It was exactly right. I think so too. And that sense of creating something, like your audience are crafters, what you feel special. Imagine if you have chronic depression, that sense of something special in your life that you created yourself gives you that sense of accomplishment that you can take on bigger things, and it also that mindfulness, basically crafting is kind of a mindfulness activity. And there's all types of research that shows the healing power of that.
Exactly. And I love it. You don't just do one kind of craft. You really kind of jump around. So we just did a couple of sewing ones. This is another really fun one that I loved. And it was like to make these little gloves, these little leather gloves. I have to try them on because they're really fun. And it's a kit that's got both of them in there. So it's just the act of putting it together. Now, what would somebody use these for?
Actually, those kits right there are wheelchair gloves. So those are for basically disabled veterans. To make that so when they turn the wheels of their wheelchair, it gives them some protection in the palm. So we've had that. That's been around for many years. Actually, that leather there comes from the Fraternal Order of the Elks. So basically, we have some hunters.
That on here.
Yeah. So they donate the leather. These are hunters, and they basically take their deer skin over a year and they donate it to their lodge. They process it. We get about 80% of the leather that they create, and we make moccasins out of that for folks in the hospital, wheelchair gloves and things like that. So we try to make kits not only that you'd be proud of making, but maybe something that you can be proud of doing. And one of the things I like are we make kits that are especially for homeless vets. Some vanity kits and stuff like that. And one of the stories you hear is that sometimes around the holidays, especially, they really don't have anything to share with their friends in their community. So by taking a kit, making it, it gives them something they can share with someone else, gives that sense of pride and accomplishment. The same thing would be, you could say, for a grandfather who wants to make something for his granddaughter, but doesn't really know how to do that. But, we have jewelry kits with beading and stuff like that. So they can make something there that helps that family bonding, that sense of pride that I made something. And then also, I created something that I can share with somebody I love.
Mm-hmm. I love that. And so you had mentioned that you're getting some products from different companies. I want to play a short clip because I think this is absolutely amazing. This is a clip that, I'm just going to let the clip play for itself and you guys can see.
Thanks.
And we're just passing those out as an awareness piece of what we're doing and also to honor veterans.
Has anyone ever heard of a program called Repurpose with a Purpose? This is a program started in 2013 by Southwest Airlines.
And through this initiative, we partner with like-minded organizations to upcycle, downcycle, and recycle thousands of pounds of discarded materials. Southwest Airlines has been working with Help Heal Veterans since 2018.
Help Heal Veterans is a veteran service organization that helps veterans with PTSD, traumatic brain injury, and other ailments. We do that through therapeutic art and crafts.
If we have any crafty folks in the gate area who would like a little friendly crafting contest, we're looking for 2 folks.
Since 2018, we have donated 300,000 pounds of Southwest seat covers to Help Heal Vets to make the therapeutic art kits.
When we take a Southwest airline seat and we will strip it down and we'll make it into a therapy kit. Those therapy kits have therapeutic instructions that are step-by-step, and they help your brain. They help your brain go into an order. And with the PTSD, it's a way for you to turn your brain off.
100,000 of those kits have been made with our leather and sent out to veterans all over the country.
So when we get materials from partners like Southwest, it's invaluable.
Happy Veterans Day!
I absolutely love that. And
Yeah.
that's where this came from, right?
Yeah, it did.
I
Yeah,
love
the
this.
inside of the biker's wallet. That's a kit
Cool.
that's pretty popular for veteran motorcycle riders. Classic there.
I can see
So
that.
Yeah.
My daughter's like, "What's the chain for?" It's a wallet. What's the like? She was so confused. I'm like, "Well, we
I
can take
know.
the chain off, and you can make it a little girl's wallet. It's totally cool." And then I started telling her a little bit about where the thing is. So I absolutely love the fact that it's not just like there's multiple things with this particular organization. You guys are helping your veterans heal through crafting therapy, but you're also saving a ton of products from landing in the landfill and using them within there. And you've gotten like the leather, and you've gotten the seat cushions. And I mean, I'm sure just you could probably give me a laundry list of all the amazing companies that have donated products or sent you upcycled products that would have gone to landfill, which just so many amazing things behind this. I just absolutely love.
Yeah, that's a grip part of what we do. Like since the last 3 years, we've kept about 1 million pounds out of landfill, just shy of 1 million right now. And that's like you talked about the leather seats from Southwest Airlines. But what's great about what we do here, and I've got Chip Perky, who's our program manager here, is a longtime crafter. He's a craft house for years before. What's great about having guys like Chip on the team is they can get product and think either upcycle product from Southwest or Lazy Boy, or we have some great partners in the craft community through AFCI, through like Plaid and Beacon Adhesives and tons of others who donate product as well. So he could take some stuff like some glue from Beacon, maybe some product from Plaid, maybe some stencil or something like that, some of the Southwest leather, and make something special. And that's what's great about being a manufacturer. We can be really creative, not just with the upcycle product, some of the products that donate through the craft community, the industry, as well as some designs that, maybe some folks out there like your listeners, we're always looking for designer help too. So if you got some thoughts on maybe how we could make a better product, I mean, we're always looking for ideas to make something a little bit special. But go ahead.
Go ahead. No, I was saying you and I were chatting about the mascara brushes that just came in, and I would love for our listeners to leave a comment about how would you use a mascara brush. I gave some of my ideas ahead of time, but I would love to hear what our listeners for the mascara brush. So L'Oreal was the one, correct? L'Oreal?
Actually, Estee Lauder, Avita.
Estee Lauder. So, sorry.
No, that's okay. That's all right. No, that's okay. Well, we know what mascara brush you use now. So
actually, I just kind of have a hodgepodge. But sorry, Estee Lauder has donated a whole bunch of mascara brushes. And so they're kind of putting kind of a think tank brainstorming idea of how to use them within the kits. So what ideas do you ladies have, and gentlemen that are watching?
That would be great. We have some ideas, and we talked about maybe glue applicator, maybe paint brushes, and we've got a small number now, but they've got pallets waiting for us back on the East Coast that we can take, but we just want to figure out how we can use them first before we take the entire donation. So, but that's just a great example of what we at Help Heal Vets do. We've been doing this for 50 years, is that we can take something special, make something special out of all these products. Some are overuse, some are no longer, being able to use by their company. Others are just, they're going to get thrown away, and we can make something pretty special out of them. I'm really proud of some of the stuff we make. And what's also great is, as a crafter, is that we make kits. But what's awesome about craft kits is that there's room to embellish, to make it your own, either paint or like adding some beads or jewelry. I mean, and what we find, one of my best stories, or that I really enjoy, is when a veteran, either male or female, feel they don't have a creative bone in their body, and they're also under this depressive cloud, whatever they're doing right now, challenges they're dealing with, and they create something special. I had this young, I was at Intrepid Spirit, Camp Pilden, Marine base here, maybe a few months before COVID, and this young Marine who had suffered a traumatic brain injury, and he was still very fragile. You can tell he's really, really built there with his wife, but because he had a serious concussive event, he was still healing. But he came up to me with tears in his eyes, and he just completed a kit. He said, "I never knew I could create something like this," and it just gave him a sense of accomplishment and confidence that he could maybe help with his healing process, and that's kind of special. And there's other stories, that maybe your viewers don't know about crafting. I know they're all crafters. They know what it means to them. But I was another story. I was at the VA hospital here in Southern California, La Jolla, and there was this a lady veteran there who was in palliative care, basically hospice. And we had visited her, and she was doing birdhouses, kind of like This one right here. So she was putting birdhouses, one of our kits, into the.
Let me do it this way. We can see a little
sure.
better.
You bet.
Here we go.
You bet. So she was doing birdhouses, and she was putting them in all the gardens around the hospital. And she didn't feel like she was going to be around long. And this was her way of leaving a piece of herself behind through her crafting by taking these birdhouses, to painting, expressing them, and then leaving a little piece of herself behind. So it was very emotional story.
Yeah.
But it just goes to show you the power of craft, the power of healing, and the power of what all your listeners do.
Yeah, hands down. So you were mentioning about when spouses come back from being deployed and giving you that family time. I know my husband's been deployed a couple of different times, and reintegrating back into the family after he's been gone for a series of months, and finding ways for him to fit back in. And for us, it's a hard transition is the bottom line. Yeah. So you had mentioned having some kits that families could potentially do together. And so the kids fell in love with this one. Now, my husband's been working even more than normal due to whole COVID, and also with all the riots and everything that happened. Like, he barely has had time off. He comes home to sleep and then he leaves again. So I feel like he's been like in a stay home deployment for the past year. We don't get to see him much, but you have these awesome kits here. Like, this is just one, and you sent this because we're military, because we're Army.
I did.
I love it. And then you mentioned that
completed.
So cool. My kids went bananas over this, and they were talking to their dad. He's like, yeah, let's sit down. Let's create this. Let's put this together. And so it's going to be like a bonding moment for them, where they're totally going to be just kind of in their own bubble working, which I think is fabulous. So I love that family dynamic to the thought process, which is really cool.
It is. I found that with my own, I was a, Navy, I'm a retired Navy captain and aviator. And, a lot of deployments overseas, and the same thing. It's hard when you come back. And, for these multiple deployment, the soldiers, sailors, airmen, Marines are coming back. It's tough to bond sometimes with your kids. And it takes a while to re-engage. And by doing something together, you do that. And actually, part of our kits are designed to help not just families, but also therapists. So like, there's multiple stories where chaplains will sit there to counsel someone, or a mental health doc or a therapist. And they'll sit there with their patient, and they'll just clam up, won't say anything, but they'll pull out a craft that we provide, and they'll start doing that together. And all of a sudden, the patient is opening up a little bit more. They start talking a little bit more, and they're sharing, and the walls kind of come down a bit. So it's kind of amazing how something so small can make such a big difference.
It's true. It's true. And I love that. I'm going to hang this up so I have some more room on my desk. But now we've shown a few really big kits, but you guys also have some smaller ones too. So like, this is another one it's like a little bracelet. So it's got beads, and it's just a very simple one that maybe takes like 5 minutes, whereas this one I'm sure takes hours.
Right.
So a little bit different.
Yeah.
So go ahead.
No, I was going to say, if you look in that kit, or on the tank kit, you'll see on the side there's a scale, which talks about how many hours it takes to complete. How hard or easy is it to do, and are fine motor skills required? Because we have to make kits, for like a wide, first off, the kit's got to be fun. So whatever you're going to do, it's got to be fun to do. And that's, so we have just like any other, client you're trying to serve, that could be a young 18-year-old client, or an older 70, 80 plus year old client. So let's say we're dealing with a senior vet, like in a state veterans home here, who may be all observed mentally, but no longer has those fine motor skills. So what we'll do is therapists will tell us what they need. So we'll take a kit. Okay, let's make this need a little bit bigger. Let's make the holes that they have to sew on the targets a little bit bigger. Let's make the instructions a little bit bigger and text-wise too, so it could feed that. So, or maybe a therapist wants a kit that will take somebody easy they can do in 10 minutes. So we'll design something simple, because that's where that patient is. Or I want to keep a group of guys done and busy for 3 days. So we'll have like clocks, or you may go out and purchase a model or something like that will take and be very involved and be very complicated. So it's got to not just be fun, it's got to also meet the therapeutic needs of a wide variety of patients as well. And that's kind of, you can't buy stuff like that. We kind of have to make it.
Makes sense. So people are leaving comments about the mascara brush. So people are talking about splatter painting. They're talking about giving it feather paints for more texture. Mascara wands is a paint kit for a splatter brush. So lots of splatter brush. My mind went into like, I know it's not because you guys don't really cater to kids, but I was thinking you could totally use them as antenna. like stick them onto something that would be like an antenna shape, just like actually use them as is,
Right.
just being silly, but it'd be kind of
Well,
fun.
something that we need help with, Erin, is that we need help with making our kits more desirable for some of our female veterans. We've been around for 50 years, so we got leather and wood and tanks and guns and stuff like that. And we started like, oh, let's do jewelry, because that'll be helpful, which has been great. But we find
right.
the male veterans love that because they can make them for their daughters and wives and stuff like that. So we've heard some of our female veterans, we would like to make the opportunity to maybe, and I used to turn Lucy Gucci up some of the purses and stuff like that. To make them more, whatever. And they do a great job on their own. But, if something that some of your listeners could do to help as well is as they get to know us a little bit better, is some ideas that we can make to meet, not just, female veterans, but multiple generations of female veterans, from the young 18-year-old female vet all the way to in the senior home kind of thing, And so we can't make a one-size-fits-all thing. So we're trying to make sure we serve all generations, all genders, but it's got to be fun to be therapeutic. So
right. Yeah. Take your mind off of what's stressing you, what's bothering you, what's causing the anxiety in your life to just melt away, and you get engrossed into whatever craft kit you're dealing with. I absolutely love that.
Yeah.
So you guys have a new one that is coming out, and we're actually going to do a little bit of an assembly while we chat a little bit more about the program. So this one, I'm going to switch the camera so we can see a little bit better. This one is all about Memorial Day. So I put Signal in there because my husband's in the Signal Corps. So I don't have a specific person that I was making this for. So I've just done this in memory of all the fallen Signal soldiers over the years as a memorial. But this kit comes as all of these pieces. This is just to kind of give you an idea of what the vets would get. And so this all comes in here. And then you also get this little lazy boy piece. So this is the fabrics. This is that upcycling part of it. You get a little thing of glue, and then you also get your candle. So I want to, as I'm kind of assembling these little pieces together, I'm going to start popping this out, which I think is just therapeutic in itself, just kind of popping out the little wood pieces. But how can somebody help your program? Somebody who's sitting at home and just watching what's going on and, watching this video, what can they do to help support you?
I think, the first thing is to visit our website, healvets.org. So, we support all generations of vet all around the country. So just so you know, when I say our kits are provided for free, they are, but they're also provided in multiple layers and multiple type of venues around the country and overseas too. So we support about 100 VA medical centers. When I say a medical center, I'm talking about the OT clinic, the spinal cord clinic, the mental health clinic, the palliative care, all throughout that clinic, and then all their satellite clinics as well, all over the country. DoD hospitals as well, military, Army, Navy, Air Force hospitals, and those same type of clinics. Then we also have a robust mail-at-home program. So we have about 7,000 veterans right now who get a kit for series kits for us about every quarter or so, where these people are isolated. They either don't want to go to the VA or they can't go to the VA, and this could be somewhere in rural America, and they'll get a kit from us that they do as a group. And we also have what we call Telehealth Lite, where they can get together about once a month, and they can do a kit with a group in a venue just like this. Then we also have we mail kits to partners around the country, be it like a mental health facility, civilian if it has a veteran population, state veterans home, homeless shelters, battered women's shelters, anywhere where there's a program where crafting can help, we'll try to support that. And then we also have, that also includes some local Legion posts and AMVETs and some folks like that as well. And then we have our own employees, craft care specialists, who run venues in various cities around the nation, where they will have we sent them supply kits, and they may have a program at a community center one day, a art therapy center the other day, a military base the next. This is the VA. So they run a community program on their own, and we have volunteers do that as well. So if you'd like to help, please reach out, and we can always use volunteers. We can always use donations. As always, we are a nonprofit. We get no grants and nothing from the government. We provide everything for free, and we've been around 50 years supported by small donors. Gift in kind is important to us too. So you have used art supplies or things you're not using, please reach out to us, and maybe we can probably use those in some of our kits to create going forward as well. I'd like to bridge over and maybe talk about the kit that you're doing.
Sure, let's do that. I'm just putting
some
of the fabric down, but I also wanted to come out, just really fast, all the links to their Facebook group, their YouTube channels, their website, and also a way to donate. I've put a direct link for the donation if you're interested in donating to Help Heal Veterans, is all down in the information section in the links. So if you're looking to go, wait till after the show's over, don't go yet, unless you're opening another browser, that's totally cool. But if you want to support them in any way, check them out. The links are all down below. That's all I have. Okay. I'm going to keep crafting and you keep talking.
Okay, great. So the memorial candle is something we put together. And this is one that I did, and we did this. This is Mental Health Awareness Month starting tomorrow, and also Memorial Day at the end of the month. So what we wanted to do is talk about raise awareness about veteran and military suicide, as well as talk about Memorial Day. Give folks a chance to honor. And so they may or may not be able to recite Memorial Day celebration or remembrances because of COVID, but we want to give folks a way to do that. And something that's kind of personal for me is like, Erin, I'm sure like you and your husband, people who fall in the line of duty, or we're families and whatnot like that. And I have a lot of friends as an aviator. Unfortunately, I know a lot of my friends who've passed away in the line of duty over the years, either in combat or through aircraft accidents, because I flew off aircraft carriers, which is kind of dangerous. So what we wanted to do is make a way to honor their memory, but as individuals instead of in group. Like, it's kind of easy to say all military members on Memorial Day or veteran suicide in general, but if you can tell one story, why you do that. And we would encourage people to either, use it in our kit, provide that for free to vets, or you can get a few that we're gonna allow to be sold for donation. So you can visit our website to do that. But we'd also encourage people, if you can't get our own kit, to make your own candle. Research a story either in your family or in your neighborhood, your community, your church, and make your own little craft and candle and memorial candle and put that on social media. And those links will be at our website as well. So what this candle allows us to do is basically, it's got the Soldier's Cross for one side with the word remember and honor there. And this is something people are probably really familiar with. It's got the American flag on that. And then it's got a space right here where you can do like Erin is doing, and you do what you need to do to honor what means something to you and your family. And typically you can either put someone's photo there. Erin shows to remember those in a certain branch or unit, which is great. I put a memorial patch for an airplane that flew in my community, flew a 7004, which crashed into a mountain sea of Japan about 15 years ago. And I had someone I really respected was part of that crew, passed away, left behind a wife and a young son. So he's the thing that comes to me when I think of Memorial Day. And there's a lot of stories like that. And as you do this craft, not only are you thinking about the healing part of what you're doing, but you're taking a minute to remember an individual, maybe an individual or a team or something special. And I think by doing that, it personalizes the remembrance.
Yeah, definitely.
Now, as I did Erin's doing her thing, I'll just show you kind of how I did mine. I took a memorial patch on one side. We've got, I instead of using the color it came with, I used a blue cloth, which you can't see, but blue is squadron color for the Blue Wolves on that one.
I did orange for signal in the back. So I found some orange ribbon. I think I got rid of, there it is. So I found, same thing. Like I put the one I created last night. Yeah, it's got the orange ribbon in there.
Yeah. So I did the commemorative patch. I also, for the individual I talked about, Scott, I had his tombstone from Arlington National Cemetery. So I thought about putting that in there as well, or a photo, or just taking your cloth and just writing the name on there. Unfortunately, I know a lot of folks who have passed the line of duty. So I thought about listing out dates and names, but it's the thing about crafting. How would you want to honor that person? And even though it comes in wood, we've had people who paint these. We have people use different colored candle in there. You have people using the mascara brush for distress. So this is exactly. So this is a way to honor that. And also, like I talked about Mental Health Awareness Month, we're also talking about veteran suicide. So part of the stories we want people to share going forward are, our service members who have taken their own life. And I say that, and when I come to mind, I have a story. I heard a father speak a few years ago about Ryan Larkin, who's a Navy SEAL, who took his own life after serving the desert. And it wasn't because of depression, or it was more because of, you heard with brain injury, traumatic brain injury from being a breacher, a lot of explosives. It was a physical injury from war that basically he was killed in Afghanistan, but didn't die until a few years later. You know, so remembering that, I think, is also part of what we want to do here. So just personalizing those stories, either somebody in your community, in your family, either with our kit, if you can get it, or if you're a vet, you can get it for free through us, or by creating your own. It's just and visit our website and our hashtag and create your own candle and share. We'd appreciate that, because it's not about us. It's honoring those stories. I think that's important.
Yes. Yes. Remembering those that have helped support our entire country by giving their service to our country, remembering them. I think that's totally important. And also the ones that are still doing it, that are still actively in serving our country at this moment, in any branch, in reserves, in the National Guard. They're all out there doing their job, which a lot of them have been called up to be full-time right now with everything going on, especially like specific here in Texas. We've had, I think, the biggest amount of reserves and National Guard being called up to be full-time for the past year and a half than since World War II, I think. So there's a lot of people that normally it would just been like a once a month weekend gig, and that's not so much anymore. So everybody's doing their job right now, which I'm really grateful for.
We have a pretty big program in Texas. You know, we support the burn clinic there in San Antonio with some of those who've been tragically injured, as well as out at Fort Hood and the VA Medical Center there, and then the VAs are all around that, and partners there too. So Texas is a pretty patriotic state.
It is. And we have one of the biggest bases for the Army in Fort Hood. So, I mean, I think it's like the biggest, I don't know if it's for all branches, but I know for Army, it's the biggest branch. So there's probably somebody, if you've been in the Army at some point, you've served time at Fort Hood.
For sure. And we have a pretty good program there through Army MWR, as well as we have an employee who supports Fort Hood there locally too.
So I just have some pictures showing some vets putting together some of the kits. This one, I'm not sure which one this is, but you can see behind a lot of the different other kits that your program has just kind of in the background there, which I think is awesome.
Yeah, that's in our Chicago, Maywood, right across from the VA. We have a craft care center there. We have an employee, and vets will come, even though we have support in the VA itself, some want to get out, so they'll come across the VA and do their kits there.
Very cool. And then here is, they're picking out what kit that they want, right? Is this all from the same location?
It is. That's in Chicago too.
Very cool. I love that. So again, if you are interested in helping support Help Heal veterans, the links are down below in the information section. Support your veterans, support this company. Absolutely love it. Is there anything, or sorry, nonprofit, not company. I guess you're a company. I don't know. I kept on like trying to playing with the word. Is it considered a company, or is it considered a nonprofit?
Well, you know, we are a nonprofit, but we have three different businesses. We are a manufacturer, we're a distributor, and we are also a service provider, you know, directly to the people through crafts. So we are pretty unique. We are the only one in the nation who does that. And we're probably one of the very, very few as a manufacturer. So what's great about the donation is the donation comes in, you give us a couple of bucks, but it comes out with something special like this. And like this tank kit here that your kids will probably like, probably cost you about $30, you know, on the outside. If you're able to go out there and make something like, or buy something like this, and we make it for about 3 or 4, and we ship it for another couple of bucks. So that's like 6 times worth of the investment for a donor dollar to get a kit like this into a vet's home.
And this is, I think, one of the best parts. So if you are a donator, if you want to donate money toward this amazing organization, inside the kits, there is a postcard that comes with it. And I blocked out the person's name for security reasons. But for people who have donated money, and it's a postage page postcard, so I'm going to flip this over. It says, thank you. You can put in your information. You can send the person who donated a little bit of like a thank you note, or just, hey, just thank you so much for being amazing. And I just think like those little extra touches that you've done not only help the vets, but also it's kind of one of those makes you give the warm and fuzzies that you've done something nice. And then it could be a communication because it says, yes, do you want to be a pen pal, which I think is fantastic. So it's bridging gaps between people that may never have made connections before, which I think is absolutely amazing.
Yeah, and
you guys are doing so much good here. It's like,
thank you. We try. We have a great team. We're all true believers here, and I think what's great about that is that we want to honor the donor donation. So, you know, the donor's not really giving to us; they're giving to the vet or the military member on the other side, and we're just the conduit. You know, the donor says, "I want to help you heal." You know, here's a donation, and we do that. So, drawing that loop, let the veteran go back to the donor and say, "Thank you for what you did. It helped me." You know, that's important to us. You know, to make sure that that veteran, you know, that the donor knows that there are people at the end of this, be it somewhere maybe in Alaska or in an old folks home, or senior center, I should say, or a VA hospital, or somebody overseas in the desert right now, that they don't went somewhere where they wanted their donation to go to.
So let's say that there is a family member, because I'm sure almost everybody who's watching has some sort of connection. You might have been a military spouse, or you might have a father, a brother, a sister, a son, a daughter, like a best friend, a neighbor, something that either is currently serving or has served in the past. They're a veteran. You're maybe noticing that they're having a little bit of a hard time. What can that person do to help their neighbor? Because maybe they're not near a hospital. Like, we're in Austin. We don't, like, I'd have to travel an hour and a half to go somewhere. I'd have to go up to Temple, to go to the next one. But for right here, that person might be like, no, I'm not going to go do that. They're the grumbly old, like, I'm just picturing my husband going, I don't need that. I'm good. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know.
I'm totally knocking my husband. He has his own way of dealing with stress. He does woodworking. So I know he has a method of, so he does all different kinds of cool woodworking. So I'm not too worried about him in that crafting storefront. But for, let's say, somebody who you're recognizing signals, you're just seeing the kind of the depression set in. How can they reach out? What can they do? Can you fill out a form for them? Do they have to fill it out for themselves? Like, what could be a step for that person?
All right, let me do this on multiple levels. First off, if you have someone who you think is stressed, you definitely need to reach out to a healthcare provider, either theirs or someone local, to kind of, help them reach that joint. And the VA has a crisis line that you can call if you feel like it's that way. Yeah, it's on the ball.
It's on the ball.
And you can find that on our website as well. Where we have a really big, we have a very robust relationship with the VA and DOD, and like that. Some of our kits, just this quick aside, we put VA info on suicide prevention in there. We have inserts. We'll put in there a mindfulness, maybe nutrition, just other ways to suggest the healing process as well. So there's that. If you think the crafting therapy will help, you can go on our website, and there's a way to find out if there's local to either at their VA or through a partner, that they can go out and pick up a kit. If there's nothing there, we have our patient home rehab center that I talked about before, where you go online and you can sign up. We don't really, if you say you're a vet and you need our kits, we'll send them. And it's based upon donations, how often they come. Right now, we're doing about every other month. There are times it's only 3 or 4 times a year, and we try to send a lot. It just depends on how much donations we have coming in. So there's a way for that. I think a big thing that helps is just what you just talked about, reaching out and talking to your neighbor and letting them know somebody cares and speaking from the heart. Just knowing, I know if you're isolated, and knowing somebody across the street say, hey, how you doing today, Erin? And just asking that question and having that's healing and power in itself, especially when we're all isolated during COVID. And, I like to say that veterans and military members, are kind of part of our family. They have stepped up to serve, and they're putting themselves out there, and you should treat them like a family member, especially when they're isolated like that, just by asking, how are you doing? How can I help? And maybe it's just having a conversation that could be healing itself. And if you think the crafting will help, let them, please reach out to us. We'll do what we can. But if you feel that they're in danger, there are steps to take, and the VA website is a great where to start, but there's also your local church, community, healthcare providers, all that. But it's easy to do. Just use a little bit of Google, Dr. Google. You can find your way. But if nothing else, the VA is there to help as well. They've got some great folks there who's standing by.
Awesome. Well, thank you. I'd love to give as many people as many options and possibilities, because they might be going, well, I don't know what to do. I don't understand. I'm just sitting in my home. Even if you're uncomfortable going by and because of COVID, just send them a text. Hey, how's things going? Send them a message, call them. There's a magical thing called a phone.
I know, for sure. And just one other aside is we do support other non-military programs. Like if your local church has a veterans program, or perhaps like your local Legion post or whatever. If you've got a program and you have a set number of folks, you get on our mailing list, and we'll send you a box pallet of kits, depending on what you can take in, and you can set up your own program. Because we can't reach everywhere. We have like a local post and DAV post in middle Tennessee or Kentucky. We're never going to get there, but they know their community, so we ship to them, and they run their own small program there, and we do as a partner.
I love that. People are putting down some comments too. There's one that's saying Vets for Warriors is a peer support line through Rutgers University, and they've left a couple of us. So I love that you guys are putting out ideas of where people can go. Thank you so much. Keep leaving the comments if you know of a way that can help support somebody, just because people might just not know they exist. So. Yeah. I think you should have been on that Mike Rowe show where it's like the Good Samaritan group, that goes out and does stuff. You know how remember that show he had on Facebook for a little while?
I do remember that. Well, well, it's kind of funny. We've been around for 50 years, longer than a lot of other nonprofits, and not a lot of folks know, we've existed, but it's okay. We're here to serve. And it's not about us; it's about the people we serve. It's also about the people who help support us too. They're the special folks out there.
Well, that's partly why I wanted to have you on the show, is I wanted to get just more awareness to what you guys do. I mean, I had not heard of this, and I've been in the military as a spouse for 25 years. And we have had dealt with lots of other things in our progression of time that we've been in here, where we've seen the chaplain and we've gone out and we've had, some therapy for various things, for the loss of my daughter, or, the return of my husband. So, but this has never been brought up. And I'm kind of one of those, what, what's going on? How come this has not been? So, I mean, the more exposure, the more people hear about it, the more people know. Share this video for anybody who tag them on this so that they can be aware of what's going on. We're streaming this from my YouTube channel, from Facebook, and also from the Facebook for Help Heal Veterans. So if this is something that might be a useful thing to somebody that tag them, because maybe that's something that's, you never know, a simple tag or a simple share to their site, or hey, send them a private message. You never know. You might be helping somebody more than you think.
Yeah, thanks for that.
Really so. Yeah. Absolutely love that. So is there anything else upcoming going on that we need to know? Anything fun on the horizon that's happening with you guys?
You bet. First off, we talked about our candle. This is all part of our campaign we're calling Vigil for Valor. So if you go on our website and our social media, we will be either people will be doing their candles and sharing it, either the photo here or whatever they put in here, and their own story, their loved one or some of their community, or if in the case of honoring someone who's committed suicide, putting that story there. But you don't need the kit to do this. So if you go out there, go on our website, look Vigil or Valor. There's something on the news as well. You can go out and create your own thing with your own candle and your own story. It's less about this and more about the story that you tell and doing that. So please participate in Vigil for Valor. And what we'd ask is you do your kit, or you do your own candle and you take a picture of it and you hashtag it and you share it on our social streams, and we kind of help raise awareness for Mental Health Awareness Month, and then around Memorial Day for those who fall in the line of duty. So that's my biggest ask right now. If you know a vet who needs help, we already talked about it, healvets.org. If you want to donate either your time, your cash, or your product, please, we can use it all to go forward, and we'll tell you how to do that. I'd also like to get a shout out. I'm on the board of AFCI, Association of Creative Industries. That's how Erin and I made at Creativation Plus, the last virtual show we had. We got a show coming up here in Orlando, and if you're running you're a craft business, AFCI is kind of where it's at. It's an awesome organization. It's full of creative people, and also we've got some great support from that craft industry for our organization. So I just encourage you to look into that. Join if you can, and if nothing else, come next Creativation in Orlando, because I think it'll be a lot of fun. Come up here next April. And with that, I know, right? I look forward to actually meeting you in person.
Yes, I think we've kind of bumped into each other, because I know I helped Lynn Lilly put up your booth the last time you were in Phoenix. So I was helping her put up all those pinwheels on the walls. She needed a couple extra hands, and I was like, I have some free time, so I ran over and helped her. But I don't think I was saving that little nugget towards the end here. Yes.
That's awesome. Well, then you have supported the team before.
I have in a lot of different ways. But there is so many things that I love about this particular organization, your organization. I mean, just from the upcycling to the helping support mental awareness, to the veteran support, to, reaching out. I mean, there's just so many parts of this that is just truly amazing. And I am so eternally grateful that you came on the show and that you are getting your information out there to those that need it, because that's what's super important.
Well, thanks, Erin. Thank you so much. And I just like to say thank you for your service. I know that being a military spouse is the hardest job in the world. Not just supporting your country, supporting your spouse, running the family. And I know that my dad was career military, so my mom, was an Army spouse, and my wife, I served in the Navy for 27 years, and I got 3 great kids, and a lot of why we're the family we are today was because of her. So thank you for your service. Behind every warfighter, there's a family there supports them. They couldn't do their job without them. So thank you for all you do as well.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I'm supporting my husband. I have his medals on display. He didn't want to have his picture shown, but it's like I got his uniform behind me and I got his medals and some of his coins. I don't know if you guys can see the coins, but some of his coins are over here too. I'll bring them up close.
Actually,
he was really proud.
One of our kits is a coin rack too. We have a coin rack.
Oh, kit. I love that. Yeah, he got this. He didn't, I mean, he could make this. This is the kind of stuff that he does. And so he's like, I was like, make a coin rack. And he's like, well, I'm not done with my career. I might like make it perfectly for the number of coins I get. And then all of a sudden I get one more coin and it doesn't fit on there. It's like, but I have to mention, like, this is just a little side note to my husband. He goes, there used to be, and maybe, I don't know, he wasn't sure if this was just an Army thing or not, but when he first started a career, he was enlisted, and then he went to ROTC and he got commissioned to be an officer. So for the longest time, there used to be a thing that you would carry the highest ranking coin that you had. So he has a coin from a 3-star general. And so he would put this in his pocket and people would coin you to see if like you had a higher coin and they would make you push. Was that something that was just Army or was that universally?
No, we have it. Well, that piece was Army specific, the highest coin. We have there's also a tradition that I've seen in the Navy where, like, if you visit somebody gives you a coin, you visit them and you don't have that coin on you, you owe them a beer.
Ah, yes. There was also the alcohol side of it, but he was saying
there is that. That's a little bit more under control now, but I am an old guy, and so I kind of came up in that Navy. But coin. We make coins. We have coins here at Heal Vets, and actually I'll have one coming your way because you've supported us here. So so I'm proud to share.
I'll add it to the stash and be like, that's my coin. I earned that.
That is your coin. That's exactly right. You're the one that did something special for our unit, to help us do our job. We appreciate that. Cool.
Yeah, I need to get him to make him his own coins to pass out. I think he's supposed to have a coin, but I don't know. I'm not sure. Like, I don't know. I know a little bit of some of that. He tends to very much separate from, like, again, there's a lot that I do know, but he tries not to bring as much home with him and tries to leave it at the door just so it doesn't look like we're, a super militant family. We're trying to, I don't know if that's the right way to do it or not, but that's how we've done it. So
I think it's the way. I mean, you need balance in your life. I mean, I'll just share it with me, like art, crafting and art. I was never a crafter before I took this job 6 years ago, but art was always important to me if you live your life, around as call it a warfighter, as a pilot, aviator. So very high stress job, flying off aircraft carriers and whatnot like that. But you need to have some balance in your life. And for me, it was my music, playing the guitar or drawing or just spending time with your family. So you just can't be on like that all the time. And part of actually PTSD, the healing process, just a quick aside, but docs say is that one of the issues that some of the folks who suffer from that is that look, all that stress is seeking out that stress to recreate it. And they just can't let that go at home. So that it's one of the reasons why art and healing does help. I mean, crafting does help with that healing process by letting some of that go. So we have to be kind of careful sometimes in some of our products we create, like getting into the science of clinicians is that, yes, you want to have, we can have fun things like tanks and stuff like that. We also have to have, maybe a buck, or something.
Yeah, my daughter's playing the rooster. So we have a rooster that you sent us to. I'm like, that's a rooster. It's not really military, but it makes sense. Sometimes you don't want to be in the same bubble or creating something that's reminding you of your trauma. And the tank might be reminding you of your trauma. So exactly.
So there's a lot behind that, which is why one of the special things about us is that we do have docs and mental health docs who advise us. I have a doctor on my board, Keith Stussy. Just gave an excellent talk on mindfulness, by the way. If you look at our YouTube channel, you want to know about mindfulness, go check out Dr. Keith's 5-minute talk. It was awesome. But that piece that you just don't think about, like, yes, you can do this crap. It has to be such and such a way. It's got to take so long. We want to have these subjects covered, or don't talk about this kind of stuff because, that will help with trauma, dealing with trauma. We talked also, you and I offline talked about, some of the sexual assault issues that, female veterans are dealing with, the depression and a lot of the PTSD that our female vets suffer from, sexual assault is maybe part of that story. It tends to be, and that's really unfortunate, but that's something that we have to be cognizant of as well when we're creating products to help, because we want to make sure that we're creating something that will help with a range of issues, you know, and
Mhm.
in every veteran's challenge is going to be different. It could be physical, like a TBI, or it could be substance abuse, or it could be trauma from an event, be it sexual assault or, you know, the stress of combat, you know. And luckily we have some great docs and mental health therapists who help us with that.
Well, that's fantastic. I don't know what else to say beyond this is just absolutely fantastic. And thank you guys so much for watching. Reach out, tag somebody if you think this would be something that is helpful to them. Check out all the sites down below, all the links. Also, if you would like to donate, you get your name on a postcard. I think that's awesome.
You do indeed.
Yay.
Yeah.
Well, and I truly appreciate you being on this show. And if you guys have any questions, I know somebody is on right now asking or helping answer questions from Help Heal Veterans. So they're directing a few people. And thank you everybody who's left comments about how to use the mascara brush, also down to some links to some other places where people can get some help. So thank you so much for being on the show.
Thank you, Erin. Thank you so much. Don't forget, Vigil for Valor. Go ahead and share your candle.
Candle. All right. Bye, everybody.
Goodbye. Goodbye, everybody. Thanks so much.